Welcome back, people. The Skeleton Podcast. Another interview today. We have Dookie Meño. Thank you so much for being here, bro.
Dude, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's honestly a pleasure, dude, for real.
Thank you. Don't know why you'd have me, but happy to be here, man. Thank you.
All right. I know you guys are wondering, who is Dookie Meño? So let me give you a little brief background on who Dookie Meño is. Dookie Meño is a 30-year-old freelance videographer and photographer from Coachella, California. With over 10 years of experience in the field, Dookie has shot countless music videos, collaborative projects, freelance work, and other passion projects that have captivated his audience and helped establish his position in the freelance film industry. His most notable projects include his own personal skateboard magazine, Subdivision, published in 2018, and a recent cross-country tour with popular alternative rock band Drug Church. As a video and photo content creator, Dookie, was that correct?
Dude, that was way.
I know
too
it's
many,
a little much, bro.
That was way too many flowers, man. But it sounds really good, really awesome.
I like to introduce my guest, but then I'd like for you to explain who you are for the people to know.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse.
No, hey, we love cursing.
Yeah, I try not to. I'm trying to really cut it out of my. And
I think that's good, but yeah, I get you.
So me, who am I? That was a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if you would explain to somebody that just came off the street and is just like, oh, what do you do?
Well, I mean, I got a real job like everybody else, but I think the hobby side of things is what I wish I could do, which is my hobby's always been working around cameras or working with cameras. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I would have never came up with that. That's really cool. But if I would describe myself, man, just somebody who really wishes they could make their hobbies a career. You know what I mean?
And what are your hobbies, bro? Like, how would you would you say you're a freelance videographer and photographer?
Yeah, I think that would be a good way of describing it because I mean, I try to put my hands into everything I can, any kind of creative medium. Well, let me backtrack. So cameras is what I like to do. I like shooting videos. I like taking pictures. What I mean by like getting into different mediums, it's like I'm not just like doing just movies, you know what I mean? I'm not just like doing music videos. Like I'll do whatever I can that it works with the camera. Anything, you know, even just like I don't know.
You're a man of many interests.
Yeah. So I guess that would be the best way. Freelance photographer, videographer, or cinematographer. I think that would be the correct term.
And what I like to do with my guests when I have them on is kind of get a whole story of how they started getting into the creative arts field and their careers that they're into. So I'm interested in knowing, bro, where did it all start for you? And maybe not so much picking up the camera, but maybe before that. You know, was there any, how were you like as a kid?
Oh, dude, as a kid. Probably stupid. Like everybody else when they're a kid. Lacked a lot of self-awareness when I was younger, for sure. Mm-hmm. But I think it all kind of began, or I think I kind of like grew a little bit of self-awareness when I was like 13, 12 years old, when one of my neighbors was dating this dude named Johnny. Mm-hmm. Coolest guy on the block, skater, looked like Sid Vicious, you know. Tightest jeans ever, biggest Vans. I think at the time,
biggest Vans.
the Raleighs had just came out. I can't remember the checkered ones. I think that's what they're called. They're like the really big, bulky ones. The Vans checkered by Raleigh. I think those are it. Yeah. But he had those. I mean, the guy's just like really sick. And then he's a skater. Always had like a punk rock T-shirt on. Mm-hmm. And before that, I was like into like a lot of like. I mean, I was listening to like rock music, you know. But I was listening to like the shit you'd find on the radio. Damn, I gotta go crazy. Stuff you find on the radio, like I was listening to Deftones, listening to POD.
And what age was this, bro?
I think I was like 12. It has to be 12. Yeah, 12 or 11. So I was listening to all that stuff, and Linkin Park for sure.
Linkin Park.
Yeah, and then this dude showed up, and then I just got exposed to like a whole like different like subgenre of things. And
you said he was your neighbor.
Yeah, he was dating my neighbor's neighbors. He was dating my neighbor's neighbor. Okay. And he just show up to the block all the time with the skateboard and like, you know, wait for her or whatever. And I just like I saw that and I was like, damn, like I really. And he was like, I think he was probably like 17 at the time, and I was like 12. So he had 5 years over me, and then he showed up with his crew sometimes, and then I was like, I want to learn how to skate.
Yeah.
And then he pretty much put me on into everything. And then me and my best friend Ishmael from down the road, we started skating with him.
Okay.
Ishmael had a camera, and he would come and like film skate videos, and we'd go back to his place, and I'd see him chop it up on Windows Movie Maker, and I was like, dang, that's very sick, And then like we would put like our fingers around the edges of the lens to give it that fisheye look from back in the day.
You guys would do that? No way.
Yeah. When we'd film, you'd put your hand, you'd hold the camera a certain way so that your finger was like blocking the lens, and you'd get like that like vignette or like that. What is it called?
But you would have to keep your hands on it like that.
Yeah, while you're skating. I mean, I know it sounds hard.
But you just be like that.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, so we would do that, and
what kind of camera was it, bro? I'm just curious.
Dude, I don't know, like I honestly don't know, but this
was
is
like a Sony Handycam or some shit.
So it was something like that, something along those lines.
Yeah.
One of those like old accessible cameras that everybody had or could get. So we had that, and we'd just film, or he'd film, and then like we'd all skate, do tricks on it, or do tricks in front of the camera, and then like he'd chop it up, and I thought it was really cool. And then I started doing it, and then as time went on, as we got older, by the time I was like 16. Mm-hmm. I just continued to do it, and then Ishmael just kind of did his own thing. We still skated, but he just didn't want to like film anymore. So I continued it on, and yeah, that's
what kind of piqued your interest, bro? Because I know like cameras, like it's something you have to mess with, like I mean, back then probably not so much. Maybe just like zoom and like a couple like white balance settings and stuff like that. But was it more so like the hands-on, like you're playing with these toys and like filming stuff, or were you more interested in like the projects, like I want to get like a crazy film part or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm just curious.
Yeah. Is that you guys want to? I'm cool. Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah. Keep it. That's cool. Keep it. Keep running. What? I don't know, man. That's a great question. I never thought about it. I think just seeing like skateboarding videos.
Yeah.
We'd always go to like Johnny's house, and he'd put on a tape, and we'd just watch it. We'd watch like old Foundation videos, old Toy Machine videos, Dark Star, Mystery, like all this old stuff, Zero, and just watching it was really sick, And I was like, I want to do that. Like I want to be able to like document stuff for me and my friends. I never thought I can make a career out of it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to always, like, I really like skateboarding. So I was like, I want to make a skate video.
Yeah.
And then, you start watching more and more videos. You start seeing the way other people are filming, and you're like, dang, like I want to film like that. Like, how are they doing it?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you just go like you fall into a rabbit hole of like research, and you're like, how did they get that clip? What were they using? What were the settings? What was the camera? Blah, blah, blah. And then you just get fixated, and you're like, next thing you know, that just becomes like your thing, So I think that's what it was. It's just like always, this is probably gonna sound really weird, but if you watch a lot of like, I don't know how you would describe this time period. It's like the 2010s, 2006s, when like the Barracks was putting out videos on their website.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of like weird, like independent skate videos that like shops were putting on YouTube. There was like this certain look for a while that people were putting out, where it was like the VX1000, the Deathlands, and then like the exposure. That's what really got me. The way they were exposing the scene, it would be like, for whatever reason, the background in the sun, behind the fisheye, it wasn't even the skater. I wasn't even paying attention to the skateboarding. I was paying attention to the way the light looked in the background.
Yeah.
The sun looked really bright. There was like always like this really hard contrast line, and I was like, dude, I want to know how they got that like look.
Yeah.
So then I would just go on the internet and research, and then that's.
Dude, you just mentioned the VX1000, like that camera, bro. Like, I mean, I have a VX2100 here that I use, but like, and skateboarding, like that era, what would you say, like 2000s, you said 6 to 11? No, that's probably before then, no? For like the VX, like 1000?
The VX is like, it goes way back. It's like 90s, I think.
But dude, that era, because I mean, there's like a lot of like the Baker videos coming out on VHS, like that kind of captivated the whole culture, would you say, right? Like that, and a lot of children too, when you're reading those magazines, you're flipping through and you're just like, oh, like these guys are skating this, like the clips and like the videos. And was that you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, dude, and my friends will tell you, I don't really know a lot about skateboarding.
Okay.
Like, I don't really know a lot of skaters.
Okay.
Tricks, I always get, like, I still don't know backside versus frontside 180s. Chavi, when I'm filming him, he has to like explain to me, like, dude, this is how the trick
turning
works.
Left.
Yeah. And then he's like, this is what the trick is called. And I'm like, It's just, and I love skateboarding myself, you know, but just, I never like, I didn't want to like, I don't know.
So you're saying like you're kind of like an outsider.
Dude, I'm very stupid, bro. Like that's
when
what
it comes to
very stupid,
to
bro.
skateboarding,
like,
or in general?
Everything in general, man. Like I'm surprised I've made it this far. I'm surprised I've been able to like figure out like operating a camera. That's like the one thing I feel like pretty confident with. But everything else, like stuff just goes over my head, man. And like people will attest to this if they see it. Like when especially text messages, man. If I get a text message and if it's too long, my brain just like skips things, and I'm like, and then like I'm like, oh, like
that's me.
I just
that's me. Yeah. I mean, I mean, do you have ADHD? I feel like
dude,
I do.
Probably.
I feel like I do.
Yeah, dude. No, yeah. Honestly, probably maybe a little bit of dyslexia if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Because I always have to use like assistive features to help me, like, and especially today with like technology, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
I have to use a lot of those things to kind of like make sure I read everything correctly. You know.
Was this like a passion thing? I want to go back to like.
Sorry,
like,
yeah, we went.
No, it's good, and that's what we're gonna like. We'll go there. We'll come back. But like when you're talking about you like watching your friends skateboarding and like you being behind the camera, you're doing a lot of filming for them. Was it like an interest, or was it like a love at first? Like you know, like when you picked up camera, you're like, oh, this is it,
dude. You know what? I honestly have no explanation for it. Like I said, Ishmael would put out cool videos, and I was like, I want to do that. And then, yeah, and then like I did it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. Like, hey, Ishmael, like I'm gonna help you film. I get like the second angle, and then like you'll chop it up. And then, yeah, that's what it was for a while. And then, at home, I would do my own little edits, you know. And then that just became the thing. And as time went on, just started seeing more and more skate videos. And then I was like, dude, I want to be able to do that. But Kai Fully Flared just completely changed the game because that was the most like cinematic skate video we've seen at the time. So I was like, dude, I want to do that, you know? And then not the slave video, the Zero video, I'm drawing a blank right now. I can't remember the name of the Zero video, but they had like certain cuts that were like, it was like a blend between VX1000 footage and then like, it wasn't Zero, I'm sorry, it was Fallen Ride the Sky.
Oh, okay.
The Fallen Ride the Sky video had like these really amazing cinematic intros. And I was like, dude, like that's the look right there. Like if I can achieve that, like that'd be sick. And then at the same time, learn that exposure setting from the VX1000, like that sun that was like really exposed in the background. I was like, dude, that's all I need. And these videos that we put out would be epic.
Yeah.
But
no lies, like I just need that VX1000, bro.
yeah. So yeah, that was the thing. But what pushed me towards it, man? I don't. There's no answer for it. If I had, I've gun to my head, I'd be like skating.
Okay.
Skating. Gun to my head, it'd be skating because that was the thing that made me grab a camera. You know, otherwise I probably wouldn't have done it.
And then, you know, as you grow up too, I'm pretty sure, like you said, you're getting into bands, you're listening to more music. Yeah. Were you going to like a lot of shows back then?
Yeah.
And explain like, what were the shows? Who were you seeing like a part of that era?
Damn.
And what age too?
Dude, I think my timeline's all screwed up, but I think earliest show I saw, I was like 12 years old. This really OG local band called Serpientes 666. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them.
I got to.
OGs, the goats. They were playing, it's like black metal, death metal. They played at my neighbor's house in the backyard, and peeked over the fence, saw like a crazy ass show going on. And I was like, damn, that's sick. That was like the first thing that came to mind. Like, that's cool, you know?
Yeah.
I was scared. I was young. Everybody was like big, tall fools, you know?
Yeah.
And if you've ever been to like a black metal show or a death metal show, and like, it's like a band that like Mexican fools like, you're gonna see like heavy set fools with long hair, bro. Big old jeans, you know, scary looking dudes.
Like you don't want to touch them, bro. You don't even want to like be near it.
Yeah. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I peeked my head over and I saw that happening, and I was like, dang, that's sick. And then the second time, and I think I was like 12 at the time. The second time I was exposed to a show, I was in a part of town. If everybody knows where Cara de Nas is, in that little neighborhood in Coachella. We were skating earlier that day. I was coming home, and I'm skating through the neighborhood, and I see like this punk looking dude walk in front of me. He had like, you know, he had the vest, the Levi's vest with the sleeves cut.
Yeah.
Blonde hair or blue hair. I can't remember. His hair was colored though. Tall kid, tightest jeans ever. Had the loop earrings on, and I was like, "What's this?" And like, I'm skating home, and I have like baggy clothes on, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, like what is this? And then I hear the backyard show going on. And it was a band called Political Decline. They were from out of town. They were playing that night.
Wow.
And Political Decline, and then I can't remember the other band. It was another local band, punk band. But yeah, I go into the backyard just to scope it out, and then it's just a backyard show, punk rock backyard show, and I was like, damn, like another one. Like this is really sick, you know?
Yeah.
And then that's just how. Yeah.
I used to love. I mean, I still go to the backyard shows and stuff like that. You know, in kind of the current state of where we are, you know, you're working for Drug Church and everything, but was there an entry to you like filming or getting photos at shows? And where was that? Around what time?
So LA for sure. And that's because, recently, like, I want to say maybe like within the last 5 years, there hasn't been, my apologies to anybody out here that if I've missed it, but in punk rock, there hasn't been any like punk rock bands out here. Like the last punk rock band that was out here was the homies band, Aim Grenades. And like, that was really sick. Shout out to Jose. But that was a really cool band. But that like era, that was like the last time I saw a punk rock band. New at least. Because everything else, it's all of us old guys, you know what I mean? And everybody's got a job, family, kids, so nobody really like bothers to like put together a show.
Yeah.
So when I started going to shows in LA, it was like 2017.
2017?
Yeah, 18. I somehow or another came across like these bands from LA through Bandcamp. And then Smut was probably like the first one I heard. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I gotta go check this band out. So when I went, saw the show, and I was like, dang, this is insane. This is sick. Like, it reminded me of backyard shows back then. And then by this time, too, I wasn't really, like, skating anymore. I wasn't filming anymore. And I still had the itch for it, you know?
Was there a gap in which, like, that period when you first started to when you're saying 2017? Or did you, like, continuously still film and take videos and stuff like that?
Damn, yeah, the timeline's, like, everywhere.
It's okay.
So it was like skateboarding all up until like 2000. I'm still skating, so that's why my memory's kind of foggy. But if I had to say, it was like skateboarding first. Then there's been a huge gap in skateboarding. I don't go out there anymore as much as I should, or as much as I want to.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chavi, Chewy, Alex. But then skateboarding, and then like don't skate anymore, but I still want to film. Okay. So I'll go to the shows and do the shows, take pictures of the shows. And I brought over like the skateboarding element of like taking a photograph. You know, you got the fisheye, you're right underneath the action. You pop the flash over and over.
I love how you like capture not only them, the whole crowd.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Dude, that shit looks gnarly as fuck. And it's because of that fisheye, right? Where it just like gets the arc.
Fisheye or like a really wide lens, like a 16 millimeter. But yeah, man. So I just brought those same elements over. You know, like popping flash, focusing on the action. And that was it. But I was going to shows first before bringing my camera. Because to be quite honest with you, like photographers at shows, I mean, especially now, like it's oversaturated. And then especially like in a place like Los Angeles where it's like the entertainment capital, everybody's trying to do that. So it's like really, there's a lot of us, you know? And so I didn't realize that at the time. But I always like, when I was younger and I would go to these backyard shows in the Valley and I would see people with their cameras, I never thought anything of it. You know what I mean? I never thought like, I thought, oh, there's probably just like the guy's friend and like he's saving it for later or something. But then like I started going to these LA shows and I was like, damn, like this is like, and maybe it's because I was like older and like I was able to like pay attention more to things, but I was like, this is like really cool. Like somebody, I remember thinking to myself, like I've always seen like punk rock documentaries about like Black Flag, Minor Threat. Yeah. And I always thought to myself like, oh man, like why doesn't that happen anymore? You know? But then I started to realize like it's happening right now with these like individuals. Obviously, there's no documentary yet, but you know, if as time goes on, people are gonna want to look back at this stuff because these are good songs. These are genuine musicians who have learned how to like produce that sound, and they produce it very well. Yeah. So then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go try to document it. You know, and if somebody fucking tries to jack me or something, or somebody tries to get crazy, then it's on. You know, we're gonna have to get down, Coachella style. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, I took my camera, started documenting. And then, like when I saw the pictures, I was like, "Damn, this is really sick!" Like, people were getting down. Like, band looks good. Like, this picture looks cool. Let me post. So I posted, and then, it just became a thing.
Was it more so like you enjoyed the response that people were like, "Wow, this is great," or were you fixated on that feeling of the thrill, almost being knocked out, You know, like the music's going crazy, the people are in the element. Was that it for you?
Yeah, it's all of that. It's not the responses from people because, like I said, like me personally, when I would see pictures of shows, I wouldn't get like a feeling from it.
Yeah.
You know, with the exception of documentaries. When you see a documentary in a video format and like the camera's like kind of like moving slowly up from like the action, and then you see like the musician, and like in a documentary somebody's talking about it, that feels cool. Yeah. You know, but like when you just see a picture on Instagram, maybe it's just because we become numb to it because of IG. You just get so many pictures,
and it's like the video, you could feel the fucking energy.
Yeah.
You could see the people. A photo, it's like only the people that are there
will understand,
and you and the musician understand that.
Right? Yeah, it feels like that for sure. But it wasn't the responses I was looking for, because I was like, nobody cares, you know. And this music's very it's very off-putting to a lot of people. It's very scary. It's very intimidating. It's gross. You know, a lot of people see that and it's like, why are you there? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you're a rockero fool. You know, that kind of thing.
How would you explain it to somebody that hasn't listened to like these genres of music? Like, how would you train their ear almost to speak like to listen?
I don't know. I'm probably the wrong guy to speak about this, man. I'm not a pro on sound, but I'm not a musician at all. But if I had to say, this music is very like it looks intimidating. It's very like it does put up a wall around itself. Mm-hmm. You know, the amps are loud, guitars are loud, drums are loud, and like guys screaming, yelling. So it's very off-putting to people. But I mean, I think if you give it a chance, and many bands will have like really meaningful lyrics, probably more so than you'll find in any other genre. There's a lot of like political messages. There's a lot of messages of like persevering, you know, doing better for yourself. Mm-hmm. So if you can just tolerate that loudness for like a few minutes, and you bother to like open the lyric sheet, you'll be like, wow, like this is really powerful, you know. And a lot of people don't want to take the time to do that. People have busy lives. They don't, you know, and people probably have so much problem going on that they're like, dude, I just want to feel good. I don't want to listen to a song that's like gross or intense. Like I just want to feel okay, because like the better half of my day has already been intense, you know. So I think for those people, like this music, it's like I don't care about it. It's just gonna put my head into the wrong place, you know. But
and the reason I ask you that, bro, is because and would you see yourself like doing this sort of like content creation, like video photography, for like like I don't know, bro, like name a name, you know, like freaking like Money Saint Suede. I was like, I don't know.
I would love to do it for Drake.
No, but I'm saying like, does it pique your interest because it's that music that you're into and that you want to capture that? Or is it just like you could do the same thing for a Drake concert, like you're saying, or whatever?
Probably a Drake concert, but no, I'm just kidding. I don't think the same formula would work for let's say like Peso Pluma.
No, I know, but
you know what I mean? Like,
but is that the reason why you're putting out this content, is because you're interested in that music and you want to capture like this scene? Or you're like, just like, this is what interests you now, but you're open?
Yeah. I think that would be the answer. It's this is what interests me now, but I'm open to anything. Like I said, I work with whoever. I shot a video for Jalen, who's like very like R&B.
I seen that.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not it's the totally opposite side of the music spectrum. You know what I mean? So I don't care. I really don't care. If I can bring my creative eye to whatever, I would, including a Peso Pluma show, even though I don't think it would probably work out all that well. But you know, I'm open to it for sure.
Well, let's get him on the phone.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I wish I could. That's where the bag's at. You know what I mean? And everybody's trying to chase that. So for sure.
Okay, so these punk shows, so that continued up from 2017 up until now.
Yeah. 2017. And then just to backtrack, I think so it was smart, like the first kind of shows I started bringing my camera to, but I was already going to shows in LA prior to that. Like I would just, especially like the punk ones.
Would you go alone?
Yeah, I'd go alone. I mean, I would always invite my friends, but and they would come out sometimes, but they couldn't always. But I'd be like, I still want to go check that band out, so I would go. And then, little by little, I just started seeing flyers at these shows of other shows, of upcoming shows. Started finding about labels. Labels would put out the flyer, and then I just kept attending. Did that for a long time until finally Drug Church was like, yeah, do you want to come on tour with us? And so then I was like, yeah, I'd love to, you know. And I think that's every when you go to an LA show, especially like a punk rock show, the first row of people is like all photographers, and I'm guilty of it. It's all photographers. So, and then the back row is like all like the fans, everybody going crazy. So, to be asked to do that, I was like, damn, it felt like the draft pick, you know, like my car got picked. Like, let's do it, you know, and I feel really grateful for that. Granted, like I did have to do my part, which is like go out there and like speak to these guys and like
put yourself out there.
Yeah, like yo, man, if you ever need like a roadhead to help you document this, like I'm down. And they're like, yeah, you know, we'll think about it. And then like little by little, like, or eventually like they reached out and I was like, damn, I was just joking. I didn't think it was gonna work. Yeah.
Are we really doing this?
Yeah, I was like, damn, now I'm gonna have to take off from work, you know, and I don't know how I'm gonna do that. But yeah, it worked out and it's been awesome, man. So
I'm curious to know, because I do want to get into the drug church, but kind of the foundation, like when you're into these things, like you say, like you know, like the punk, like the different genres, you're into videography at an early age, skateboarding. To not everybody are these things normal, and do they pique their interest, right? Like, and I'm curious to know, like, you know, what were like your parents like, and your friends like when they see you, like, you know, interested in all these like different creative fields, like the skateboarding, the punk scenes. You're going out to LA, you're going to these shows, you're now bringing your camera, and they're curious because they're like, what is this guy doing? But like, how would you explain like the people around you?
People around me are great, man. I'm very blessed to have the people that I have in my life. All my friends, they've all been very supportive. My family as well. My mom's probably my biggest hater. Show her photos, she's like, that's not it. Or she's like, you're cutting off half the body. It's not it. And I'm
in
like,
a loving way?
In a loving way, yeah. I mean,
okay.
you know, but I'm very blessed to have them. My mom hates like the whole like rocker aesthetic, you know. Dad loves it. He's cool about it. Sisters, they all show love about it. So yeah, I mean, I'm very, very, very blessed on that end. Again, friends, they got nothing but kind words to say about this. Yeah, so I think I was pretty lucky on that front. And then to explain this to people, I don't think I could, because a lot of people, I mean, in my age group especially, your generation, okay, let me just answer the question. Then we'll. I'm sorry. I'm like everywhere with like my answers.
I love when you do that. I can reel it back in.
Yeah.
Just wherever your thoughts go, just continue.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it. But how would I explain this to people? I don't know. It's like, I don't know if you ever seen that. There's like this YouTube channel of this dude who interviews street photographers.
What's the YouTube channel?
Dude, I don't even know the name, and I should. That way I can plug it right now. But this dude, all he does is he lives in New York City. I think he lives in New York City, and he interviews street photographers in New York City who walk all around like the popular street, the very like good streets for street photography.
Okay.
And like he's asking them like, how do you explain this? Because it's borderline creepy when you think about it. Street photography,
like snapping photos of random people.
You might, if you ever visit New York, you might get captured, especially if you're in these areas where like a dude in a trench coat and a top hat walks in front of you and just pops the flash. And then you're like, did that guy just take a photo of me? Like, that's borderline creepy. Yeah. You know, it's like, that's almost like perverted. Like, what is this guy gonna do with that photo, right?
Yeah.
But then you see the photo and like, it's totally different. It's not what you were expecting, you know? It might just capture like the light a certain way, and like your clothes were probably doing something funny. Like, it's always, usually the ones that are the coolest are like businessmen, and like their ties are like flying out, and like their hair is like all crazy, and the sun looks epic, and like the flash went off. It looks sick, you know? Yeah. But that businessman, when he got that photo taken of him, he's probably thinking to himself like, what the hell was that, you know? Yeah. So when he's asking these guys like, how do you explain it? You really don't have an explanation for why you do the things you do. You just have like an itch for it, and you want to go and like fulfill that itch. Yeah. So like for me, it's like I always wanted to work with cameras. In the Valley, it's such a small market. Like once you work, you can really like conquer the Valley pretty easy. Yeah. Like you work with all the artists, you know who's who, you're done, right? And then that's it. And then it's like, but for me, I was like, dude, I want to keep doing this. Like I don't want to just like do like the desert. And no disrespect to the desert, I love the desert, it's still here,
of course.
But like obviously, as you start to get older, you want to be able to like financially secure your place, you know? So it's like, if I can make this a career, like if this can really like pop off, then I'm gonna try to do that. So just went to LA to do that, to continue to fulfill like this hobby of mine, you know?
And, you know, when we pursue things like this, because I would say, bro, it's kind of unconventional, right? Like for the majority, unless you go to like school for like some artistic degree and you pursue that. But like the freelance people, the people, even myself included, start podcasts, do clothing, you know, like it's very on your own-esque. There's nobody there to hold your hand. There's nobody there to pat you on the back when you do something great. It's just for you. But I forget where I was going with this. When you say you go out to LA, you're putting yourself out there. Did you always kind of like have this, not like fear? Because I mean, I don't know if you consider yourself fearless, but like did you like just not care about like what the kid down the street thinks of you, or like the people that are low key hating on you on Instagram? Like, were you just like fearless of that like external, you know,
like judgment?
Yeah,
for sure. I think everybody's a little self-conscious about what they're doing. You know, I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't. And yeah, I did think, especially when you're at the show and you're taking photos, you got this big camera on you and like the band's playing and they're even looking at you like, what are you doing?
Fucking haters.
Yeah, like we didn't, no, it's not that, but it's not even that. It's just like, what are you doing? Like you haven't even introduced yourself to us. Like you haven't told us what your objective is. Like what's going on here? You know, like what are you gonna do with these photos? So for sure, I was scared a little bit. Like, damn, these fools might be like, "Yo, camera guy,
get him out of here."
Yeah, get him out of here. So like, security. Not even security. They'll just throw a guitar at you, fuck your ass up. You know, sorry, don't mean to curse, but So and the people too, like you're in the way of like them like coming to see the band. You know, but I don't know, man. You're like, I want to do this thing, so I don't care. You know, I'm gonna do it until somebody says like to stop, or somebody tries to get crazy, and then you got to fend for yourself. So it's like that was the approach behind it.
Would you say you have like tough skin, like you don't care what other people think? You just want to like do you.
I mean, I want to do me for sure, and I as an adult now kind of do care about what people think, because it's like it's like, dude, I'm getting older. I can't continue to live like this, like a renegade. I can't just be a punk all my life. Like as much as I want to do that, like you can't. You know what this reminds me of? I'm sorry, bro, but this reminds me of, I don't know if you've seen the movie Dodgeball. Yeah, I've seen Dodgeball. I can't remember. I just remember the wrench scene. Yeah. Okay, the pirate guy, or he's like, I forget his name, but he's like, Steve the pirate. He's like, Steve. He's like, you can't you can't be a pirate anymore. And he's like, he's like, this is what I feel like it is. It's like, but I totally get you, bro. Like the responsibilities, you're trying to like, provide yourself essential things like, like a place to stay, food. You need some stability, consistency. Yeah. I totally get that. Yeah. And I know that's very not punk rock to say, but it's like, no, it's the realness. Yeah. It's the fucking realness, bro. And that's a bigger topic that I'd like to cover with just like everybody in this field. It's like, it's not fucking glorious, bro. It's like we're out here grinding sometimes for a repost on the story, or like, it's like sometimes the money's not coming in. We're doing this freewheeling. We have our day jobs. We're doing all these things. We have all these external things weighing on us. Yeah. But it's to fulfill that itch to, for a better future for ourselves. Yeah. I mean, I think you said a little while ago, you said that there's no finish line to this. You can't really, it's hard to see it. And I've told this before to people. It's like, especially in the art world, you don't know what the finish line is. You don't know when you've reached the point where you can say, okay, I'm done. Like, this is it. Like, now I can breathe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what was that? I think it was a South Park episode where they're grinding to do this one thing. And then after they grind, they're like, so now what do we do? And they're like, now we're going to play the game. And then the entire time they were playing the game, trying to like get rid of that. I can't remember the episode, but that was like the joke of it. It's like at the end, they're like, okay, now we can play the game. So it's like, that's very similar to this. It's like, there's no like, you can't see the end game, but you just, that once it feels right, you can relax and you can like do it like the way you want to, I guess. But yeah, to go back, no end line, like other careers have end lines. If you go to college, like you graduate and then you get the job and you're good. Or just curious, do you have any education in freelance photography, video? I took one film class in College of the Desert. Okay. Hated film. To this day, hate film. I will not take pictures. No disrespect to film people, but I hated working in the dark room. I hated taking a photo and then like not seeing it right away. People like that. It's awesome. Good for you, but I prefer to take a million photos and then like edit them on Lightroom, listening to like a cool song or something like relaxing.
Oh, that sounds
and just
nice.
like playing around with settings and learning exposure and just thinking about what I could have done to do better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Some people like sitting in a dark room, exposing, putting it under the chemicals and all that stuff. That's great. I hate film, but that's the only class I took about photography. Everything else was YouTube Academy. You know,
YouTube. No lie.
Yeah,
we've been there. We're still there.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and to this, I mean, and then now there's so many resources up there, or out there to help people like be better photographers, be better editors. So it's like YouTube is a place to be for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, we've talked about this on other episodes about like education through like, because I mean, I don't see myself as a lawyer. I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm trying to like fulfill my skill set.
Dude, you're very well spoken. You could be a lawyer.
Fuck.
And you're 21, man. It's like
don't tell me that, bro. I might have to be a lawyer now.
Dude, I mean, that could always be your fallback plan, but yeah, man, you're really well spoken. That's one thing that I was surprised about, because when I was your age, man, I feel like I sounded like an idiot.
I think it's maybe just because I have good people around me, bro. And I talk to a lot of different people. And I like expressing myself, like, you know, like
that's key, man.
Yeah.
Being able to express yourself, learning how to express yourself, the right words to say.
Yeah,
that's like key for sure.
And I think it gets you pretty far too, because like, I mean, this is a little off track, but like, I be talking to like grown ass men, bro.
Yeah,
you know, about like one thing this year is we're trying to plan out this like October fucking party or whatever, like this big event, and like I'm trying to like maneuver all these things, but like I'm talking like these people that like own like the warehouses and like, you know, like, so, and also too, like I've been around like a lot of older people and I've like talked to a lot of older people, so that like scaredness of like, oh, they're smarter than me, they're like, you know, it's like that, it's kind of like, dude, they're just normal, bro.
Yeah, normal. And a lot of people, dude, when you get older, you're like, damn, like I thought we'd all get smart by now. But there's like a lot of people that are still stupid, you know, and you're like, damn.
They didn't go to YouTube Academy.
Yeah, they didn't go to YouTube Academy. Yeah, exactly.
Public speaking on YouTube Academy. No.
Yeah, no, but it's like you said, man, being able to express yourself, being articulate, that's like key for sure. If you can do that, you can pretty much master anything in life, I feel.
100%. I mean, that's kind of how you would say you got that drug church gig, right? Putting yourself out there, articulating your feelings.
Yeah, you know, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're probably right. Having the confidence to go up there and just know what I'm going to say, but I mean, they're like normal humans, you know, and so like just talking to them like how I would talk to my friends, that's what I did, and it worked out. So, but yeah, I guess it is just being able to express yourself correctly.
What were we saying before this? I forget.
There's no end game.
There's no end game. Okay. Yeah. I think it was on the, no. This is where we're at. And I want to really cover this. You explained to me how that, you know, now at 30, you're saying that you do care what people think about, you know, and it's maybe because you're getting older, you're seeing a lot of your friends do things, you know, like big accomplishments in life, like have families, get houses, have established careers. What's your take on that? Like, how do you feel like when you're pursuing this thing? In my head, I think it's great. And I think you're a well-talented person.
You're
and you
young,
have
man. You're still big.
Wait. And you have a very talented future ahead of you. But at the same time, you know, you're looking at all these different people and it has conflicting emotions with you. So like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't know, man. It's I was listening to your other podcast. You guys are talking about Rick Rubin, and he says don't care about like what people have to say, right? I think that's what you were saying that he says in his book. And there's so much truth to that. So I don't want to get that misconstrued. Yeah. Yeah, you can't care about what people think about you. And I try not to. But inevitably, I still do, you know, and I think that's just being human.
Everybody, I will say that. I think we all have those, like, I mean, even if it's like, dude, it's like we just like have those thoughts in the back of our head, like, even if we say who cares, but like it's just there.
Yeah, what's that Kanye West song? It's like the people highest up got the lowest self-esteem.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's true. Yeah, I mean it's true. It's really true. But you just got to be able to like walk that fine line of like not caring and caring at the same time, because, and I think the older you get, you might start to kind of like go numb to what people have to say about you, and you just start doing the things you feel like are right, and that could be also incorrect, because like, especially like with music, and no bands in particular, but like everybody knows this. You listen to a band, first 3 albums are awesome, and then like as they get older, the sound just kind of, and then you're like, are these guys like even, are they realizing like the music's not what it was or why I'm here? Yeah. And there's so many possible responses to why bands do that, or even artists or a clothing brand or, whatever. They start to change. And they might have a response for why. Maybe they wanted to try a different medium, want to try something else, and that's great. That's awesome that they're exploring.
Yeah.
But as a fan, as the outside world, it's like they might not see it. So like I think you have to be able to walk like a fine line between like being conscious of like what people are taking of you, or receptive of you, and then continue to do what you feel is right. It's a very fine line. It's hard to walk it, hard to navigate it. So
that was a very well way of putting it, bro. I see what you're saying now. Like, amidst all the passion pursuit, you've done a lot of work. You're still cognizant of like, hey, maybe I should do this because it's gonna put me in a better financially stable place. Maybe I should buckle down on this because it might make me. So you're saying like still pursue but have responsibility. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess that would be a
or not, maybe not responsibility, but like cognizant of what the other people think.
Yeah,
because it's valid.
Which would be a responsibility. Like you have a responsibility to your craft, I guess, or to your fan base, if you know what I mean, for lack of a better term. But the people that like, I guess to the people that like put you where you are, you know what I mean? If you ever reach that far, it's like you have a responsibility to them to continue to give them what the people want, what they want. So I don't know. It's but yeah, it's just like I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's just a symptom of getting older for me, but just I do care a little bit about what people think. At the same time, I don't. So I think that's why I've been able to get this far.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a hard line to walk,
Especially too when we all have like responsibilities and stuff. Because like, bro, if we could, like, we'd just be on the road, just like like going to every show, doing everything, talking to everybody, making tons of money, doing everything. But it's like,
yeah, I mean, who wants to work a 9 to 5?
Of course not, bro. But it's like it goes back to that. You have to be on your P's and Q's. You got to know your responsibilities. You got to, like take care of yourself and the people around you care about as well.
Right. I mean, I guess like, if everybody could live off of their passion, I think everybody would, it's just, unfortunately, that's not how, where the world works. It's like, you have to have some kind of revenue. You have to be able to support yourself, support the people around you. And so unfortunately, people have to do what they got to do to do those things. And whether that means giving up on your passion, whether that means taking a job you don't want to take, it's like, it is what it is. It sucks, but that's the reality of, I guess, this world.
Yeah. Okay. So I mentioned in the intro of yours that you had done, and I know this is kind of falling back, but there is no sequence here, guys. We're doing this. You did a magazine, Subdivision.
Yeah.
2018. So that's around that area where you said you're going to these shows, you're doing a lot. Can you kind of speak about that and why you chose to do like a magazine? Because that's very cool.
Thanks, man. It was just like a small run of prints because I have so many photos stored in my drive. I'm like, I got to do something with these. So let me just put together a book and see how it goes.
Is it still available?
I think so. I don't know. It's terrible. Don't buy it.
No.
Somebody DM me and was like, somebody DM me and was like, yo, this picture on paper or page number 13 is blurry. And I was like, sorry.
You know what?
And I was like, well, I'm sorry, dude. I was like, maybe the publisher didn't print it correctly. And then,
you know what? I don't want to say it, dude, because I don't want to get vulgar, but that guy.
Yeah, and then I looked at the photo and I was like, it's just because I shot it with the cheap lens and it's fuzzy. You know what I mean? It's
so
like,
what, bro?
Yeah. So don't buy it though.
No. I was gonna say everybody needs to go right now and get that for their coffee table because we're gonna get it for our coffee table.
Yeah.
That's great. And I think no, it's my phone. You're good. We're good. We need to support creators. I feel like, especially when we talk about our fields being like unstable, some of us have no, baseline of like knowing when the next check's coming in, who they're working with next, what they're doing next, when's the next drop, when's the next music video out. People are getting streams nowadays from their music, money from their music. So I feel like it's important for us to support one another. I'm curious to know, in your field, how has been like the money? You know, like, is it people are like willing and gracious enough to like pay you for your work and to a level that you feel like is accurate, or do you feel it's kind of like everywhere?
It's kind of everywhere, man. And I mean, hold on, let me backtrack. There are those that can pay what you're expecting, and that's awesome. Hearts to them, thank you. And then there's people who are like, yo, I don't got it. Like, can we meet somewhere in the middle? And it's like, sure, let's try to meet in the middle. But at the same time, it's like sometimes I feel like people on the other side try to like take too much, like they cut your value too much, and you're like, can't do it, you know? So I'm sorry.
They're like, dude, I got $20.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
They're like, let me just invest 18 hours of my time.
And dude, and my heart's to them, because it's like, I was there too, you know what I mean? All the camera equipment that I have, dude, it's taking me up until this point to have so many loans, so much debt, you know, probably the worst move I could have made.
You think so?
For sure. I mean, but you know, my heart's to the people who don't got it and wish they had, you know what I mean? Because I was there too.
All of us.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah. These mics, I'm sure, were like super expensive, you know? They sound great, by the way. So it's like, I get it. Equipment is hard. So hearts to them. But I think for the most part, if they got it, people will pay what you know, what they can, or what you're asking for if they got it. Otherwise, it's like they try to meet with you somewhere in the middle, and that's awesome too, you know? And then like, two, it's like, you know, sometimes you want to take a chance with art, especially because you never know like what's gonna hit, you know? It's always like a shot in the dark, feels like. So it's like, yeah, let's try it out, and if it works out, great, and if it doesn't, next time it's gonna be double the rate, you know, for not paying up the first time, which is it's a joke, but you know what I mean. It's like you want to give people a shot, you know. So it's like, yeah, if people can pay, they will. I'll say this, like I said earlier, there's like a lot of photographers that are doing this, especially with like Instagram. There's like a plethora of people doing this stuff. So as far as money goes, I feel like in photography, especially, I feel like it's really undervalued. Yeah, there's like no value. Yes, there's no value to it. Yeah.
But I will say, and I have a couple questions on this because you did say in another podcast about the oversaturation in the market of photographers, videographers in the concert scene, but also just in general. Like Instagram has 1 million.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in knowing, like, or like, how would you say people differentiate themselves, like in the market, and like, why would somebody come to a Dookie instead of, you know, just like random guy on Instagram that like just.
That's a good question. I don't know, man, because like. You know, the algorithm gives you similarities, so it's like it's hard to feel different. It just really depends on people how they market themselves. You know, I don't like to put myself out there, like my face. I never try to show my face. I just try to show my work, and I'll let the work speak for itself. But there's people who showing themselves is like that's the key. You know. And that usually means that person's probably really great to work with because like they're open, you're gonna have a good time working with them. So that's what that probably means. And so, you know, I think everybody just figures out a way to distinguish themselves in a very similar, in a line of people that look the same. Everybody finds a way to look a little different, you know. How they do it, I don't know.
How do you do it, bro? I'm interested in like, how would you explain like a Dookie photo or like a Dookie film? Like
I don't know.
Obviously, it's like just a conjunct or like a mesh of like all your interest in like stuff you've taken and that's why we love it, you know, because we're like, oh, this is this guy's world.
Yeah.
But you know, you've talked about your influences and stuff with skateboarding and the punk scene and stuff like that. But was there anybody you looked up to that was doing photography or film in a way that you thought was interesting and new that you kind of ran with that? Are you enjoying this episode? Well, if you are, check out our Patreon. For only $5 a month, you get ad-free, uncensored, extra content that's not available on YouTube. For $5, the price of a coffee. Speaking of coffee, if you haven't already, check out our store where we have the Skeleton Podcast mugs capable of holding any liquid at just the right temperature. This and more products available at skeletonusa.com/podcast. That's skeletonusa.com/podcast. Thank you. Let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of influence. So, I mean, I guess I get the way I do things. It's like it's a culmination of everything that I've been into, like you said. But But yeah, there were like little outliers of people or artists that I would look up to, and I'm like, damn, like that's if I want to be a photographer, that's like what I want to do. If I'm gonna do a music video or a video, that's who I want to do it like.
Yeah.
Right now, right off the top of my head, I know I have more. There's been more recently, and I have a folder on YouTube of cinematographers, directors, and I'm like,
wow,
yo, these are the people I look up to.
Send me that folder.
Yeah. But right now, like just the ones that come off the top of my head that I can remember, like early on, this one dude named Abtine Bagheri, really awesome director, really nice. Let me come on to one of his videos that he directed for Ross. It was a commercial he was shooting at the time.
Wow.
I reached out and I was like, yo, dude, love your work. Cool if I come by and check it out. And he's like, yeah, come on. So went, saw him work, and that opened my eyes to like how
commercials are shot and stuff.
That and just the way people like interact with one another and stuff like that. So shouts out to Abtine. He's a big influence on me on shooting videos and how videos are shot. His vision, the way he like does things. And it's funny because like he's not even like a cinematographer, he's a director, he's a writer. But I guess his writing abilities are so great that people can like take what he's saying and produce it and make it like, come to life, you know? Yeah. One thing that I regret about and then on the photo side, anything that would come out on Thrasher, I'd be like, yo, that's a sick photo. And you can do that. You can do the way skate photos are shot. You can do that with anything, like architecture. You can do that with real estate. You can do that with models. You can do that with sports. Like you can apply the skills of a skate photo into anything. It's concerts, you know, the fisheye, the lighting, the angles, everything. So Samuel Ashley, this dude, he's a photographer. He does it's not Thrasher. It's one of these like new skate mags. I think it's Free Skate Mag. Okay. It's like one of these like more independent or new skateboarding magazines. So many of them now. But I think it's Free Skate Mag, and I think he runs it now. But if you go to his Instagram, Samuel Ashley, you look at his pictures, every single one of them is goated. You're like, dude, like this guy's colors look good, angles look good, exposure looks good. Everything is awesome about it. So I take that with skating. Now, obviously, his photos are like colorized and like they're awesome. You know, mine are black and white, but I try to like incorporate at least some of like what he's doing or what I can observe or think he's doing into my pictures. But
so a lot of these people you're saying you know them from online, right?
Yeah.
Is there anybody around you like in person that you kind of bounce ideas or bump or like, you know, just shoot the shit with people? Or because I feel thankful enough where I'm around a lot of like-minded people and we like bounce around ideas through this podcast and outside of it. But like, is there anybody in your life that like you do that, or has it just been strictly like online, just like hitting up people, getting the information, talking to them?
I mean, I think I'm trying to think right now. I creatively, like as far as like pictures and videos go, there's nobody that really like I talk to about it because all my friends, they were always just skateboarding. Yeah. And I would invite them to come help me like shoot music videos, and they'd be like, nah, like it's lame, dog. I don't want to go do that, you know?
Like, I'm trying to go skate, bro.
Yeah. Or just, I just want to kick it, you know? It's hot. Like, I'm not trying to go out there. Yeah. So a lot of my friends don't, but don't get me wrong, they do show love, they do show support. They do send me like videos and they're like, yo, what do you think about this? Is this cool? But as far as like creatively, like, nah, like nobody coming up, nobody really like was there to like, so that I could be like, yo, like, what do you think about this? Like, I never spoke to anyone about like, creativity. I never had like a circle of friends that were like creative in that regard. You know, the way we communicated was like they send songs. We'll bounce songs off each other. Especially my homie Junior, that fool, he knows like a band that's on Spotify with like one listener. And you're like, dude, how did
He's like, bro, I've been listening to him for the past month.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's awesome. And you're like, damn, this song's really cool, man. Like, you know, but that's the way we communicate. And then so then it's like they'll send a song and they're like, yo, mad inspo. And then like you play it and you're like, yo, yeah, that's very sick. And then ideas come to mind. And then like I have on my notes pad, I just have like a bunch of like ideas that I save. Milanote, you don't know if you're that website. Milanote is another one I've been using recently.
What is that?
It's a website where you just like, it's like a concept board. You just put stuff on it.
Ooh, I want to look at that.
So I like, so when they send me songs, I'll like cut to this part of the song that I find really inspiring, put it on that Milanote page, put pictures around it, and I'm like, okay, like that's the idea. And then like I'll write like a note, like a reminder, like, yo, next time you have an opportunity to shoot something that matches the sequence, references and like boom, boom, you know? So
this is great, bro. I'm very interested. Like this is part of your process. Does your process go farther than that? Like what else do you do when you are trying to shoot passion projects or freelance work? I
always, it just depends. Like, so like for like concerts and stuff, it's already like a pretty rinse and repeat formula that I've kind of figured out, which sucks, unfortunately, but that's the truth.
But you know what you're doing, you know what you want to capture, and you know how to do it.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Because you sometimes you'll go to a place or like a venue or like a spot where a show's happening, and you're like, damn, these walls are gonna like limit the reflection of my light, or like the house is not packed enough, like, or the venue has like this really terrible blue light that just destroys pictures. So I'm gonna have to do them in black and white. So there's a lot of things that come with it, but for the most part, it's rinse and repeat.
Okay.
You know what I mean? For the most part.
Yeah.
But there are times where you kind of have to crack your head a little bit and try to figure it out. That's like on the photo side. And then like with skateboarding, like you go to a spot and you're like, damn, like I can't like this is not looking good.
You're like, dude, the curb's not waxed, bro. It's like, it's sticky.
That's more like the concern for the skater, but like, you know, as a photographer, I see. This scene sucks, you know, or whatever. Like I can't put my light anywhere. Or we're here at the wrong time of day. We should come back later.
Like
you know,
security's come. Yeah.
Yeah. Or just like when the sun is like down at golden hour. You know what I mean? And then like on the video side, it's like the way I approach it is I always try to listen to the song first and try to get visuals. I try to have visuals come to mind from the song, and that's how I pretty much approach that. If the song doesn't speak to me, man, it's like it sucks. Like I know the video's gonna suck, you know, because like this song is just not like nothing's coming to my head, you know? And so yeah, that's pretty much the formula for that. So listening,
brainstorming, listening, and then you said you use like a kind of like a like the boards where you like put ideas together. I know photography, especially, and videography as well, it's very like intricate. Like it's a mechanical thing. You have to know like a lot of like processes and just like you said, lighting,
shooting in manual mode.
Yeah. Definitely not auto.
Yeah, not auto. Yeah.
But like, and it's like a lot of like problem solving, correct?
Yeah.
Like you're fixing things based on your environment.
Right.
Would you say like that piques your interest? Like you're a very like analytical, smart person where you love to problem solve, tweak, adjust, and solve on the go.
You know what? I think so, man. I mean, I hate having problems. I hate just like making sure that like, everything's taken care of. But I can't say that to the fullest extent because there's so many problems in my own personal life that I'm like, I can't say that. You know what I mean? Because if I was really that person, then I'd pretty much have a grip on everything. But there's a lot of things that happen, and I'm like, how did this happen to me? You know, or like, how did I let this get this far? Or how did I lose control of this situation? Or how come I can't figure this out? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So to say that like I'm a very like analytical problem solver like person, I can't say that to the fullest extent. But I can say that maybe that's why I like taking pictures.
That's what I'm
being able to like, at least that's one thing I know I can control somewhat, you know, or like I have total understanding of, or feels like I have a total understanding.
Are you a control freak?
No. The point I'm trying to make is that like, if I was, then everything in my life would be straight. You know what I mean? But for the most part, it's like, it feels chaotic at times. And I'm like, dude, like, I can't get a grip on things.
Our careers and fields kind of like reflect the type of person we are. From what I've seen, like, especially myself, like, I love to design. I love to speak freely.
Do you make all the skeletons graphics? Is that all you?
That's all me, bro.
Oh, sick. Cool,
yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Everything there is.
They're really cool. Yeah.
Thank you so much, bro. It's very like I'm a designer at heart.
Yeah.
Because I love using my eyes. I love like fixating on like one image for 20 hours, you know, and like and like really like you like similar to like a photographer on Lightroom where you're just like tweaking stuff, you know, incrementally because the positioning, you gotta have balance and all these. Maybe it is because I'm a control freak. I don't know, but it's like I enjoy that.
You got this regiment right here.
Yeah. But like I don't know, maybe like when I talk about this stuff, I'm like maybe like our interests kind of reflect, or I mean our careers reflect who we are.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like thinking about when you're explaining like the settings and like tweaking things based on your environment at the shows.
Real quick, you seen that meme where it's like she runs it like a Navy?
No, but explain it. She runs it like a Navy?
No, I'm sorry. Did I say that? So it's like this meme of like this like really, it's a certain kind of person. Okay. They look a certain way. I don't want to like
describe it.
I don't want to describe it too much, but it says like, it's like a picture of like this person. And then like the caption will be like, I know she runs the McDonald's or the Burger King. Like it's the Navy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Control freak. I don't know. That came to mind. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to get off the rails.
I have met a couple of those people. They're just like, it's like, dude, like you're like, bro, it's not
Army.
that serious.
Yeah.
Now, boom, boom. Yeah. So, I mean, videography and photography are a little different. Why, or what part of the process do you love more? Do you love when you do like a video? Do you love like the process of putting together the story, the script, what's happening? Or do you like the After Effects process of like editing, tweaking, or do you love it all?
Hate editing.
Yeah,
editing sucks. Especially when you work with files that like your computer can't even handle.
Oh yeah.
Damn, like, this sucks. This is a nightmare. But when everything is like falling into place, when the edit's looking great and it's playing back the way you thought of it, you're like, oh, this is sick. Love it, you know?
Yeah.
And I love editing when that's happening. Hate editing when it's like, you're trying to figure things out. You're like, dude, this is terrible.
Dude, I was talking to my brother about this the other day. Like, I hate editing, bro. Like, well, some of the vlogs we do when we go up to like Sonoma, we just went to Arizona. I'm like editing the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. Piecing together like all these miscellaneous clips. Like, people don't understand, like, that's labor intensive, bro. You having to like look through that footage, put it all together, add some music, and like make it a cohesive project.
Yeah.
It's hours.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? Like, I don't want to, like, I'm kind of mad right now, but like explain that, bro, because I know it's hard.
Dude, it sucks. I mean, for me, the part that I hate the most, is like I said, is when your computer can't handle it, because then everything is just like super boggy.
Yeah.
The playback is like super delayed, so I hate that part. I hate when people send me footage and they're like, "Yo, can you edit this?" Because it's like, dude, I wasn't there. I don't know what you shot. And I don't want to sit there and have to try to figure it out for you.
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest.
It's a puzzle, bro.
Yeah, it's the biggest gripe I have with like doing this, because people would just be like, "Oh, dude, you can edit this, right?" And I'm like, dude, no, I'm not gonna touch that. I'm not gonna edit somebody else's footage.
Yeah.
Especially if I wasn't there, because I don't know what you shot. And if I put something together, the last thing I want to hear from you is, "Yo, can you try maybe doing this?" Dude, terrible.
Hey, bro, can you change the music?
Yeah.
Have you seen that one where it's like, it's
yeah.
all cut up and they're like, yeah, bro, can you just like, I don't really fuck with that song. This cut right here, bro. And it's like, got like 10 layers above it.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly, dude. That's the worst feeling ever. So I hate editing footage for other people. Not to say I haven't done it, especially if they're willing to pay.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe if the price is right, I'll do it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the part I hate the most is editing. When it comes to photos though, I love editing. I don't know why, but I think maybe just because it's easier and the computer can handle it, and like it doesn't bottleneck, it doesn't get all choppy. So I like editing photos. Just go get a coffee, chill at home, listen to a podcast, listen to the Skeleton podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely,
dude. Honestly, like I've been listening to some of your episodes.
All right, but is it good, bro? That's the question.
Yeah. I really genuinely do like your podcast. I don't know if it's these mics or I don't know what it is, but it's just very simple. It's just dialogue happening, and sometimes that's all you just want to hear. You know, it's just a dialogue happening. So when I'm listening to your podcast, it's a little therapeutic. I will admit, man. Like,
do we sound like Rick Rubin?
Nah.
He's like,
dude, that fool's annoying, man. Screw that guy. Don't. Yeah, I'm just joking. No, your podcast, it sounds really great.
well, I'm sure you sound great to the people listening.
Nah, dude. I'm like the worst. I don't even know why I'm here. You know, I still haven't. This is one thing that I will say about the Valley, man. Is like a lot of people forget that, like, and I disrespect anybody that's trying and that's pursuing an art, but I feel like from what I've noticed from working with people out here, it's like they feel like just because you've mastered the Valley, it's like, oh, I'm good enough. And it's like, dude, the world is massive, you know, and
we have whole Rome to conquer, bro. It's like this right here is like taste,
right?
It's
right.
like not.
Dude, yeah, this is like a breadcrumb, you know what I mean? So it's like...
But explain those uncomfortable situations, because like when you say... Because a lot of people too, and this is not just a Valley thing, this is a whole world thing where like we all come from small towns, correct?
Yeah.
We're all know the same people, go to the same schools in the same communities, go to the community colleges. But, you know, when you're trying to venture into new territory, put yourself out there into not just a massive, like a population of like a couple thousand people, but now like... thousands of people coming in and out, flying in and out. You're in LA. There's like new people from all over the world. It's very hard, you know, to maneuver. And assert yourself as, you know, being important when everybody's like, fuck that guy, bro. Who is that guy?
Yeah.
You know?
It's I mean, it's an eye opener for sure, because you realize like I suck, you know, like compared to everybody else. It's like
it's humbling.
It's very humbling. Yeah, you're like, damn, like I can't claim anything. So that's why when you asked me to be on this podcast, I was like, dude, like I did the Angel Chavez one.
Yeah,
I told him, I was like, dude, I don't know why I'm not the person to have on. You know, I feel like I haven't really accomplished much to be there, and I really don't. I mean, unless you just want to have like a conversation about gear, maybe. But otherwise, it's like I really have nothing to offer to people apart from just the story, you know, of like, and it's like, this is like the chapter like 3 of the book, you know, and it's like
of course, the
book
book
like a 30-page chapter, you know what I mean?
It's a 1,000-page, you know?
Yeah, I mean, 30-chapter book, sorry.
Yeah. But let me explain why I think this is important and why I like to talk to people like you, is because I think no matter where it is apart on the creative adventure of, you know, our careers and finding things, I think it's valuable because, you know, if there's a little kid out there that wants to pursue photography, videography, but has no sort of like foundation or just have like anybody to talk about it. I mean, you speak on how you knew nobody, you know, just your homie skateboarding. A lot of these kids come from those areas and, you know, there's nobody there to be like, yeah, mijo, like, you know, pursue that, do that. You know, it's just like more so like, fuck, dude, work construction or like, you know, go to college, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, when we have these itches, this desire to fulfill ourselves, but it's conformed because of the community, society, and like all these rules set in regulation where it's like, you shouldn't do that. There's no money there. Do this, you know? So, and I value this conversation here, not just, but I think the people will too, because it's important, bro. And if we're not explaining it for the next generation, it's just going to be this gap between, well, they're great. They don't know how they're great, but they're exceptionally better than you. And you know, try to figure it out.
That's so true. You know what, man? You're absolutely right.
And, right? And that's why you should value yourself, bro, because
don't get me wrong, man. I do value myself.
Okay.
You know, it's just when people ask like, yo, beyond like, or I don't know, like, I just feel like,
I totally get you. You're like, dude, I'm not even finished yet.
Right.
And I feel that way as well, bro. So I can.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you, in regards to like, what do you feel like you're not finished with yet? Because I feel like
the world.
Yeah. But like, I mean, is it like your graphic design thing or is it like the podcast thing? Because like the podcasting, I feel like it's going pretty good so far, man. Like this is like a legit setup. Looks good, sounds good. Yeah. So it's like, it's on the rise for sure. But like, what side of it? Because you say you also run the brand, you do the graphic design.
I want to conquer it all, bro. I want to do everything and everything. Whatever interests me, I feel like I'm capable, and I think everybody should have this attitude. I'm capable to make it happen.
Yeah.
And let's make it happen.
Yeah, you got to be a little cynical for sure.
Yeah, you got to be a little crazy, bro, because it's not all fucking, you know, rainbows and roses out here.
Right. No, yeah, for sure, 100%. But so like you want to do like you want to be like the number one podcast or the number one graphic design? Is that like the
I mean, if we can get into like a whole story of like, you know, like why I started the podcast, why I think it's important, and like where I see it, but also too, I think we live in a generation where everything is intertwined, where you don't have just a clothing company, you're not just a
it's
comedian.
A whole brand.
It's a whole brand.
Yeah.
And you know, now we live in the age where podcasting is very popular, but it's like, when's the last time you heard of like a clothing company having a podcast?
Yeah.
You know, and so that's where I was like, you know, people will say you can't do that, but I want to say, why not? You know, like, sure, I do clothing and I think that's cool. And I that's my passion pursuit, but I have just as much passion for intellectual, nice conversation about art, culture, etc.
Dude, you sound very, I mean, I don't know if I already said this, but you sound very like,
bro, you know,
intelligent, man. I'm surprised, man.
Hey, bro,
just because I'm comparing, because like I feel like you know,
you're just as intelligent, bro. There's no
but I got years on you. You know what I mean? That's the difference. It's like you're where I am intellectually, but you're like way younger, and it took me a long time to get to where I'm at, and you're already there. And I feel like, what was I doing when I was your age, man? Like just wasting away, like doing the wrong things. You know? So
I have you here because I aspire to be just like you. You know,
dude, no, you don't.
No, wait.
Like
listen. The fearlessness, your ability to pursue yourself and your passions without caring about what anybody says. You know, in an environment when it's not so fruitful, people aren't treating you the best. The money's not coming in the best. This is for all of us, not just you. But I'm saying like you are doing hard shit and you're persevering. And the world needs to fucking know that shit because they need to do the same shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you.
So, but
I really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Sorry, I get in these like heightened states, bro. I think I have like fucking.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I feel like I mean, I don't know. If everybody just does what they like to do and if they're like serious about it, then they will achieve somewhat of success. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's always been a camera since I was like 13 for sure. 12 years old, 12 or 13. It's always been a camera. And you know, this other thing too that I've never really told anybody this, but I remember growing up, like, you know, my family was not like, we don't have any kind of money, you know, super poor. We'd go to like family events and stuff, and I'd see like uncles having cameras, cousins having like nice things, and I'd be like, damn, like I want to have those things, you know? Couldn't. And the one thing, I was thinking about this the other day, the one thing that like I always remember looking at, wishing I had, or wishing my family owned, was a camera. We never had one growing up. Like we call them dad cams now. We call them dad cams, you know? We never had one of those. And I always wanted one. For whatever reason, I don't know. Just I always thought they looked cool. And I guess that was like the Easter egg for my life. Like that's the thing you're gonna go towards and try to master, I guess, to put it for lack of a better term, you know? So if you just find the thing you like and you pursue it, you will be successful. You know what I mean?
And what's your definition of success? Just so that people can know, so I can know, like, you know, because a lot of the times in this industry, people think like it's that 10 million mark, you know, where lots of money coming in, you got hundreds of thousands of followers. You know, what do you care about? Like when you look at the end of your life, like what's important to you?
Stability.
Stability?
Yeah, stability. Making sure that everybody's taken care of. Yeah, stability, man. Because it's like,
is there a number though, or is it more so just like I want to live
stability, whatever number that is? I don't know. It's hard because like as long as everybody around you, the people that depend on you, the people you want to like have around you forever, as long as everybody's comfortable and everything's okay, I feel like that's success. You know what I mean? What number you apply to that, I don't know. Because some people are able to do that with like $30,000 a year.
I know, that's
what I mean.
Yeah,
there's families out there, mine included, that were able to get by on scraps. You know, and one thing my dad always used to say is we're always gonna have money for food. Don't worry about anything else, but as long as there's money for food, we're chilling.
That's all that matters.
So it's like, you know, that as long as you have stability, as long as you feel content with yourself, then that's success. You know, for me personally, I feel like I'm not successful yet because I don't have the stability. I know I have to have a 9-to-5 job to be able to pursue this thing, you know, this creative itch that I have.
Of course.
But once I have enough work lined up for the year that this can be like the thing that keeps me afloat, I'll consider myself successful. I will go to podcasts, flaunting my shit, talking about
He's
how
like, I'm pulling up in a fucking Richard Mille.
I'll pull up in a Honda Civic talking about how great I am. You know what I mean? Like right now, the things I have is because I have other means, you know, to make money. And so it's like that to me, it's like, I need this to be able to do this creative outlet. But once I can just live off my creative outlet, I'm chilling. I'm good. I made it.
And that's the problem we're all trying to solve, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody, you know, you meet photographers, videographers, brand owners, companies, podcasts, whoever. It's like we're doing this to float that,
right?
Because like you said,
especially out here in the desert, man.
Yeah,
everybody's doing it.
I think it's an everything thing, right?
Yeah. So I'll say this: one thing I've observed is in Los Angeles, if you live out there and you get into a creative outlet, there's enough opportunities on the DIY scene, on the indie scene, independent scene, to be able to like live off of it. I mean, you're not going to be the best, you're not going to be comfortable, but you're going to be able to like just focus on your creative outlet. You know what I mean?
Even if you're interested into photo, you could get a job at a model agency where they need somebody to take headshots.
Right. That, or you can work at a warehouse where all you worry about is taking care of the gear, doing rentals, you know? And you get to work around the stuff you like. You get to see lenses, see how they feel, look at them in person, you know? So it's like, you can get by, you can do it doing the thing you love. Out here, it's like, you got to get a job being a plumber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, or an AC guy, you know?
Yeah. Small town areas, bro, like there's not a lot of opportunity.
Right.
When I'm totally with you on there, bro. And it's a struggle, dude. And I love having these conversations because it's like, damn, we're not alone.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. For sure. Everybody, you know?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. And then, you know, to go back off like Instagram, it's like that stuff just kind of, it fogs your mind because everything looks great and PG. And then you look at yourself and you're like, damn. You seen that meme where it's like, check your bank account. I mean, check your pockets. That's who you are. Depending on how much money you have in your pockets, that's like who you really are. Don't look at the followers. Don't look at your photos. Check your pockets. That's who you are.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that's so true.
Oh, that's so real. And I'm kind of, I side with that because in a society now where it's like we have Instagram, all these platforms, people will have like hundreds of thousands of followers and still be like broke.
On the grind. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
so it's like, yeah, I'm a firm believer in that as well. Hey, what's the timeline at? How long are we in this? Hour 20. Perfect. All right, Dookie. So this is the main question. Sorry,
I don't know how long we do these things.
Oh,
for.
no, bro. We can hit 5 if we need to.
Okay, all right.
No. Definitely not 5. I don't want to take too much of your time. So this drug church thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did that happen? Yeah. How did it happen at first?
So just before that, I was just attending a bunch of concerts, or I wouldn't even say concerts, shows.
Okay.
Attending a lot of shows, DIY shows, small shows, taking photos, boom, boom, boom. Sending them to bands like, yo, here's my photos. Enjoy them, do whatever you like with them. And yeah, that was it for a long time. And then Drug Church liked their music, went to their show, took pictures of their set, sent them. They liked them. But the thing is like everybody always responds with positive comments like, yo, thank you, man. These are great. We really appreciate it. So same thing with them. It's like everybody was saying the same thing. I was like, cool. Like, all right, awesome. Didn't think anything of it. And then they played at the Belasco Theater in Los Angeles in 19, I don't remember. They played the Belasco with the Chants. And before they played, I reached out and I said, yo, man, I took those photos last time. Can I get a press pass for this one? And they said, yeah, sure. We'd love to have you to come get photos, right? So then I was like, okay, cool. Go take the photos. And then before I leave, I'm like, yo, let me introduce myself to these guys because they responded pretty well on that last one that I said when I asked for the press pass. So I go to the merch table, talk to the merch dude, Alex Salter, shout out to him. I'm like, yo, dude, is there any way I can talk to Pat Kinlan, the singer, or whoever runs the Drug Church page? Because they said they gave me the pass. He was like, dude, you know what? I don't know where they're at. They're in green room. I've been up here. Like, if you can find them out on the set, like, just talk to them. I'm like, all right, cool. So then as I turn around, I see Chris, the drummer. He's walking out, and because he lives in LA, and he's walking out, and he's like, and I walk up to him like, yo, dude, I'm Dookie. Just wanted to like say hello. And then he's like, oh, you're Dookie. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, those photos you take are great. And I'm like, thanks, man. And then when he said that, I was like, if you ever need a tour photographer, let me know. And then he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, think about it. I was like, all right, cool. And then that was it. That's where the story ended. Went home.
And do you do that a lot though?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't do that. The only reason I did that is because they played the Belasco Theater, and the Belasco Theater or the Belasco Room, I don't even know the name. It's one of those places where you just can't take your camera equipment. And that's the thing too. That's another thing that people need to realize. It's like it's always a risk if you don't have a press pass when you go to these venues because a lot of security will press you about professional photography. So I knew Belasco Theater was one of those theaters. So I had to reach out. Otherwise, I wouldn't have. Otherwise, I would have just shown up with my camera as I'd been doing, already. And so when I got that response, I knew there was like a little bit of engagement between me and the band, more so than like on a regular, any other kind of band, just like, yeah, come out to the show kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then, I spoke to him, and then that was it. Went home, and then I can't remember if like they reached out and were like, yo, if you're serious about the tour or not, or if there was another show where I spoke again. But the point is like they made an offer. They're like, yo, like if you really want to come on tour, like we're gonna go on tour in the fall. If we can meet in person and like go over like. And
what was the tour like?
It was a full US.
US?
Yeah, northern US. Yeah, I couldn't do the full US because I have a real job.
Yeah.
And I explained that to them, and dude, I'm so fortunate. They were like, yeah, like that's cool. Like just tell us what dates you can do. Okay. So it worked out in my favor. And then
what states did you hit? Just curious.
Flew into Philly, went all the way to New York, Illinois, Denver, or Colorado, I'm sorry, California. That was a first run. I think I'm missing one more state. Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that was it.
Okay.
And then, but now over the summer, they did another tour, this time in the South, southern states, and pretty much did all those.
Wow.
All the southern states, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California, Florida, all those places with them. And then more recently, Japan. Got super lucky with that one. Yeah, super lucky.
Which we're going to get there. But okay, so you reached out. They took an interest. They said, sure, give it a try.
Yeah. And but we had to meet in person. We had to go over like, how much do you want? Okay. You cool with, grinding out certain dates, certain nights. It's not like all, it's not all comfort. Sometimes it can be a little challenging. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like we just went over logistics and all that stuff. And it was, and I think I get along with them pretty well enough. They're like, yo, like come out to Japan. Like it's gonna be fun. And I was like, dude, let's do it, So, and then with getting to know those guys, that just opened the door to that entire like industry, I want to say, or genre of music, and just met all these people who I always like looked up to. And I was like, yo, like these are the people who I would see on Instagram. These are the shows I would watch on YouTube. And now I'm here.
There. Yeah. And I'm filming them for YouTube.
Yeah. Doing the same thing. And I'm like, I never thought I'd be here, or these guys know who I am, and then now it's happening. So.
Do you like that aspect, the touring, the like? Do you like that field? Because that's a whole field, right? It's like what is like somebody that follows like musicians like touring to take photos? Concert photographer.
Yeah, I guess a concert photographer.
Okay.
I don't know if you're thinking of like a roadie.
Yeah.
Unless you're thinking about that, but I love it, dude. I love getting to see all these places. And the thing is, it's like you go to these places and you're not there as like a tourist. Like you're there with like a purpose. Mm-hmm. And you're there and you meet like locals, you meet people who are from there. They can show you things that like you won't get from like a TripAdvisor page or like on Google, you know what I mean? Or a YouTube video. You meet people and you talk to people who are from there, and they let you know like what it's like. You get like you just get a different perspective, So it's like, it's really awesome, huge opportunity, huge blessing. And I don't want anybody to like get this misconstrued. Like I'm still a baby in that game. Like I don't, I just got started. Haven't really seen all of it. Haven't seen most of it. But I feel really fortunate to have gotten that opportunity and where I am.
Yeah, bro. That's amazing for you, bro. Congratulations. Because like that seems so cool to travel, do what you love, meet new people, and just be a part of like a bigger cause. Because Drug Church is like pretty well known, bro. So that's super dope that you're a part of that, dude. That's dope.
Yeah, man. I feel really lucky. And then just like traveling, it can get tough sometimes. It can get scary, especially when you're like you're driving on like a sketchy road, or like the weather's bad, and you're like, we might die. So it's not always great. So, but yeah, man, it's really fun getting to see all these places and go to different places.
Is that an avenue you'd like to further pursue?
Of course, 100%. The only downside is, and I don't think a lot of people like grasp this or realize this, but like when you're on the road, you're not home. So you're not around the people that you love. You don't see them. You come back and like something happened and you feel left out, or I don't know. It's just you're not home anymore. So all that stuff kind of starts to like fade out. So, or not fade out, but just you feel a little disconnected.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I know that you have. Okay, so I wanted to figure this out, and it's okay if your answer is a multi answer, but
like all of them have been.
No, and I love it, bro. I love it.
Sorry.
The concert photography, freelance work for video, photo. Which one? All these different things that you're doing. Which one is like the one that like really gets the heart that you like want to really do? Or is it everything?
If I could do movies all the time, I would do movies. I would love to be able to do, especially because I saw the way AppTeen worked, and that seems really cool to me. Getting to direct something, or even just being like being the director, photographer, like that'd be really sick. Just because there's so much goes into it, like so much goes into a scene that people don't realize, like lighting, camera, lenses, positioning, the language of a scene. It's like nobody really like bothers to like dig into that. But when you're working to produce that, it's really fun. So if I could, I would do that. Photography, I love because, and the other thing is too, you work with the team. It's like you have a team around you, so it's like it almost feels foolproof when you're doing something because you get instant feedback, like, yo, this sucks, try this or do that, or let's move it around. And like you got a team that'll help you move these things around. But when you're doing it at a DIY level like I am right now, it's all on you. So like if you got to move the light, go move the light. Put your camera down, go move the light, position it, go look at the camera. Does the scene look cool? No, it doesn't. Go back, move the light. So you're doing all that and it sucks. So at the level that I'm at currently, taking photos is great because it doesn't take too much work in a sense. It's not like I mean, it is labor intensive in the sense that like you have to be there to take the photo. You have to go home and edit the photo. You have to look through thousands of photos. You know, all that stuff can suck. But that is easier than shooting a video on location DIY style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like DIY style is shooting on location. You're moving everything. You're responsible for everything. And then now you got to go home and edit it. And then you got to go home and take the ridicule. Like, yo, this video sucked. Why didn't you like do great? And it's like, because I'm a one man show, dude. Like I can't, it's hard.
Dude, I do everything.
Yeah. So, and then like with photos, it's like, it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit more tame. It's more tame. You know, it's like, it's less labor intensive compared to shooting a video. So, I mean, if I could, again, just to go back, videos for sure. At the level of like a big production team, or not even a big production, but just like having a production, people that like are like-minded, people that have a good taste, have a good eye, like that would be the ideal scenario. You know what I mean? And
why don't you start your own?
I've thought about that. It's a big investment, and at this point, it's like I'm already too invested into camera gear to try to go off and venture into something else. Not to say I couldn't, but right now I just have too many.
Yeah, you don't want to put
movement. Yeah,
I get you.
You know, but for all the people that are coming up, if that's your thing, like pursue it, get yourself in debt for it. Really try to master it and do it, because that can be a fruitful career. I see a lot of people on Instagram who are in unions that do videos, that work on productions, that own warehouses where they rent out equipment. And it looks like they're doing great, you know? So if that's your thing, by all means. But when I was a kid coming up, I didn't realize all those things. I thought like you just have to be good and people will come to you, or you have to have everything already for people to come to you. So my approach was totally different. And like we said earlier, like I didn't go to art school. I went to like a regular college, got my degree because I was like, I'm gonna have to get a job. You know, I don't know anybody. I can't do those things. I don't know those people. So I'm just gonna have to like try to figure out my own means. So that was like my path. But for everybody else, if you're coming up, if you're really serious about this, like 100% pursue it. Because otherwise you're gonna be in a situation like me where it's like you're walking a thin line between like this and that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And it's tough, bro. We're just grinding.
Yeah.
We're literally just grinding.
Just grinding.
Please support us.
No, yeah, for sure.
Like, comment, subscribe, God damn it.
For sure, 100%.
Okay, so you did say off camera that you are filming some sort of documentary. Can you speak on that or no?
Yeah, I mean, just the stuff I do with Drug Church. That's it. Okay. You know, just filming that. And
how are you interested in that? Like, do you really like doing that for them?
Documentary? Yeah, oh yeah, dude, I love it. It's awesome, man. Like,
I think maybe that like bridges that like bridge where you said you like want to work with the team and like, you know, do like the whole film, like
honestly
shebang.
The thing is though, but what I meant by that is like being on a production on a set.
Oh, okay.
And like there's a script and like we're trying to like do this thing.
I see.
Like, I would love to
a little
do that.
different then.
Yeah, it's way different. Yeah. When you're doing documentaries, you're just running gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
do
that's
you like
great.
that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love that. Especially because there's not too much pressure on like the vision. It's like those guys trust me enough to just do what I want to do. It's like, dude, just keep doing your thing. And like, there's no pressure. You know what I mean? Whereas like if you go shoot even a quinceañera, there's pressure. Like families have like a reference. Kid, can you do this? Can you shoot it like this? And it's like, ma'am, you paid $10,000 for that video, or that person paid $10,000 for that video. I don't think you realize there's like a whole team behind that. Yeah. And I don't think you have the $10,000 to pay for that. That's why you're coming to me. So you're gonna get what I can produce as a one-man army. Yeah. You know what I mean? So people fail to realize that. So the ideal is production, every whole team. But running gun is fun because it just feels like I'm with the homies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like,
it takes you back to that like 12, 13 years old.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, I guess that's the truth, man. You're just doing what you love. And like, because they like your vision so much, you can experiment with whatever. And they're going to be like, dude, that's awesome. Or yeah, that's sick. You know?
And that's kind of the scenarios we all hope to be in, where like you've built up your work and you get to be put in these positions where they just give full trust and responsibility to you.
100%.
Because the last thing you want is somebody over your shoulder telling you like how they want it and stuff.
Yeah, dude. Oh, 100%, man. And like I said, when they come back at you and they're like, yo, can you maybe try a different song? Or maybe take that out? It's like, fuck, dude, you have... All right, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, it sucks.
Inside, you're just like gut wrench, like...
Yeah, 100%. 100%, dude.
All right, Dookie, I do want to close off this interview, but I have a couple questions that I give every guest.
Okay.
And these are more simple questions, but I think they speak volumes.
Okay.
All right, so.
Well spoken. Well said, I should say.
Thank you very much. Who is Dookie Meño?
Let me read that script that you said. I couldn't have said it better, dude, than that.
But in your words, like, who is Dookie Meño?
Who is Dookie Meño? I don't know, man. Just a kid from the desert who likes skateboarding, who likes taking photos, likes making videos, wishes he can make that his career. That's who I am. Yeah, that's it. That's the best way I can put it.
Dookie, what would you define as your purpose?
My purpose. I don't know, man. I don't think anybody really knows their purpose here in life. You know, we just do things that we like. I don't know my purpose. I just I want to do the things that I like. And unfortunately, because we live in a world where money is like the thing that you need to live, unfortunately, I have to make sure that the things I like align with income and making money and like being fruitful, I guess is the word.
I totally get you. Who do you want to be?
Myself.
Perfect. All right. And then the last one, because I think this is important, which you kind of tucked on before, but what's one advice you give to a young individual that would like to pursue film and photography in your field?
If you can, and this is true, this is like, don't buy any equipment. Don't buy any equipment. If you can get a job somewhere where you don't have to pay for the gear yourself, do it. And then borrow that equipment. Because the one thing that's hurting me to this day is having bought everything myself. That sucks, man. It sucks. It sucks to have to buy these very expensive cameras, these very expensive lenses, as you probably already know.
Yeah.
But if you can get by using it on someone else's dollar, do it. That's my advice to you. The other advice is don't stop. Your shit's gonna suck at first. If you're one of the gifted people that have hits from the beginning, awesome. Props to you. My heart goes out to you. But if you're putting out work right now, you know it sucks and you know you're not getting the numbers that you want, don't give up. Don't give up. Because some, like my stuff, I look back and I'm like, and even to this day, some stuff that I put out, I'm like, yo, that sucks. You know? It's terrible work.
It doesn't?
No, it sucks. And then especially the stuff in the past. Like if you think the stuff you're doing now sucks, imagine the stuff, you know, it's like the stuff in the past was even worse. So just don't stop. Keep trying. Keep looking at, mock the person that you look up to. You know, mock the person that you look up to. If you see something you like me, for example, when I was watching those skate videos, I love the way that exposure looked. That's what kind of put me on to knowing the things I know. I was on a research hunt. How did they do it? What was the lens? What was the camera? What was the settings? What was the tape? How did they upload it to YouTube? What was the export settings? What was the compression rate? What was the file form? All this stuff, right? It opens up all these things. So model someone. Find someone that you like. The one that you're like, yo, that's the thing I want to do. Try to model it the best you can. And then little by little, you'll start to build the foundation that you need to be not only that, but better than them, because the objective is to always surpass the person you look up to. You know, the people built before us always have to do better than us. You know what I mean? That has to be the thing, because if people just match you, it's like you're not building anything. No one's evolving. So you got to be better than the old head. You know what I mean? So I always tell people that tell me, like how you said, like, oh, dude, people look up to you or whatever. Like your stuff's cool. I'm like, dude, you gotta be better than me. Like you have to. Like I'm not saying that to like gloat or nothing, but you have to, bro. You gotta like burn me. That's just the way it is. Otherwise, we're all just gonna be doing the same thing forever. You know.
I love that, bro. And I want to burn you.
You have to. Dude,
I want to be.
You already are, man. You already are.
No,
dude, I'm telling you, dude. You're 21. You're articulate. You have this amazing studio. You have this amazing
Dookie,
brand.
let's not do this.
You have all these amazing, dude. One thing I wish I had was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, love my friends, but they just weren't into the same things than I was, and we didn't collaborate on like the art medium as I wish we could. You know, they were just like, they're cool people and they're good people, and I have a great time with them, but when it comes to like art and stuff, I can't really be like, yo, like, let's do this, let's do that, or let's try to make this.
Yeah.
So I wish I had that. You have that, man.
Well,
You have,
let me propose something.
at 21, bro. That's the crazy part.
Let's make it sure that this is not the last time we speak, and that we have you on for maybe following episodes, or just to hang out and talk art and culture and what's happening. And
I'm all for it.
You know what I'm saying? Because Now, can I shake your hand?
Yeah,
this is a
dude,
friendship forever.
For
we
sure.
got Dookie. Thank you very much,
Listen,
bro.
Hold on. Dude, I'm sorry. I rambled on so much, but I wanted to ask you some stuff. Especially because I'm sorry, dude. We can do this off the podcast?
No.
I'm
Let's
really
fucking do it, bro. Let's do it. If we have to cut it out, because I might say some foul responses. No, I'm just like, continue, go.
All right. So what's the skeleton story? Like, what is that? Because I'll tell you this, like, one thing that me and my friends always talk about is how, like, the younger generation, which would be you, because I beat you by almost like 10 years.
Yeah.
9 years. Like, what is it? Because everything before us, I feel like there's no more skate videos being put on YouTube. There's no more like people tearing up spots around the valley.
Yeah.
There's no more like little crews like there was back in the day.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's so mixed. And one thing that one thing I was exposed to by observing you and your world and like your friends is that, like, it's almost like, I don't want to say replica, but it's like, I guess the remnants of like what the scene from my generation was doing. And like now it's like, I feel like it's multiplied. Like there's like hundreds of you guys. And like before it was only like maybe like the 20 people.
It's like maybe just like the homie down the street was interested in the same shit I was. But like now it's like Instagram profiles like everywhere.
Right. And I'm like, dude, this person's from the desert. They're awesome and they're good. Like, and they're awesome. Like, that's crazy. Like, so like, what is skeleton? Like, are you like, is this the hub of it? And then everybody just.
Well, it's a pyramid scheme. I'm just messing with you. All right. I think this is a longer conversation. Like if you want the full answer, but it's the same as yours, bro. I have an infatuation with design, art. I love people. And I've just been trying to set up a system in which I'm able to create stuff through design, a brand company. And I think owning a business and a company allows you to embody a message and something that I want to kind of like push out into the world. Yeah. And I think that's why this whole podcast came about. And that's why I pursue that is I'm trying to build an infrastructure in which I feel great at doing every single day. I get to show up and do what I want to do. And also to give back and build on the what's the word? On the forecomings of what like Supreme did, of what like just the big names in
like streetwear.
In streetwear for like the culture though, because not just like the hype shit they put out, but like what they did for the culture and how that inspired millions, thousands of young individuals to do the same. I think we have an obligation to lay our foundation in our history and do that same for the next generation. So that's kind of where I come from, but it's a longer story, but that's just kind of like.
Yeah, man. Cause I was like very impressed. The way you put it right now, the things you're doing at 21, I wasn't doing those things. So I mean, this is awesome, bro. Like no, dude. I mean, we were just going skateboarding on a weekend and then putting a video together.
I was doing the same shit.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, okay, sure, maybe, but this just feels more than what I was doing, and that's great, dude. Like, I'm very impressed by this, and like, I'm very happy to see it because every conversation I have with my friends, it's like your younger generation sucks. No one's doing it. No one's like doing cool things anymore, and I'm really genuinely happy to see like that you guys not only are doing it, but you're doing it. Cause like, this is hard, man. It's hard to put all this stuff together. Yeah. It's hard to put together a platform and have it going, you know, cause people give up quick, man. That's when you realize when like people are like fake or not really about it. They give up like 2 months, 3 months into it. And they're like, I'm not going to do it. Like, I don't want to do all that. Like it's hard. You know?
I will say I'm a part of a team that, you know, of great people and also a culture of innovators and creatives that want to push the envelope and just the same culture you come from, bro. We're literally not that far apart, but like I'm saying, like I think all of us work on kind of what you guys have put out, what you know people that are older than you have put out, and we're just trying to improve and do better. And I think that's the only objective we really have. So thank you to your generation, the generation before you, after you.
I don't even thank those guys. They suck. All those people suck. No, man, this is sick, man. This is really cool because like it's about it. You know what I mean? You know, you got to be about it. You know, all that stuff. That's saying how those sayings go. It's like this. You guys are about it, and that's cool, man. Like, really happy to see that. Honestly,
shake your hand once more. Yeah. Thank you, Dookie. Oh, was there more questions?
I mean, it's just gonna go off of like, it's just really gonna be about younger generation. But I feel like we've already gone. Like,
We'll maybe do this off camera. Yeah. But thank you so much again. People, if you do enjoy this episode, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And if you did pique interest into Dookie Meño, which I think probably all of you have, you should definitely consider checking out his profiles.
Listen this long.
Oh, they definitely did. They definitely did. please check out his profiles, his works. I think it's important. Like I said, we have an obligation to support people pursuing hard things. These are not, easy accomplishments to pursue careers that are, unstable, I would say at times. So check out his stuff, give him some love, comment, like, subscribe, all that. Thank you very much. And
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
Honestly. Thanks everybody. Yeah.
Let's take off these headphones.